Son oturumdayız. Aslında dijital dönüşümün çok altın sorularından birisi. Bugün öğleden önceki oturumlardan birinde de gündeme geldi. Bu konuyu içeride mi çözmeli yoksa dışarıya outsource mu etmeli? Bu soruyu biz de hep düzenli olarak tekrar ziyaret ediyoruz. Çünkü buradaki perspektifi sürekli genişletmek istiyoruz. Şimdi bugün sizi az sonraki oturumda burada karşılaştığımız çok eşsiz bir çözüm dünyadan sizlerle paylaşıyor olacağız. Bu oturumumuz İngilizce olacak. So now I'm switching to English. This is going to be a unique session around whether to do it yourself or to outsource it. In our journeys, we have come across a very unique, globally unique example of how digital transformation can be done. And I'm very excited to invite my good friend and partner of the Diconium Group, Martin Cserba, who is responsible for foresight and future readiness. The floor is yours, Martin.
No, there's plenty of room to grow. We say, welcome to the post-digitalization era, where businesses need to be smarter, not just more digital. This means to achieve more with less, to create value from software, data, and AI, to navigate global markets, to compete at scale, to digitalize with business impact. Our approach, maximizing outcomes and delivering scalable solutions. We count on value creation, a global ecosystem, and experts with empathy. This is what we do to lead industries into the future. Are you ready to update your business with us? Diconium.
So, herkese hoş geldin. Çünkü sadece biraz Türkçe konuşuyorum. I will continue in English. Sorry about this. So, it is a pleasure for me to be there with you and speak about not what we have in mind, but also what we have done, because I think it's about doing, not talking. And when we speak about updating industries, why do we speak about updating industries? The reason for that is since we believe that upgrading, incremental upgrades of industries by adding some software, by adding some AI, by adding some data does not help anymore. We get stuck. We see it outside. It does not help anymore. So therefore, we said we need updates in industries. And updates means a systemic approach to generate value from data, software, and AI. And this is the form what we need to work on, because it's not about just having additional technologies, it's about generating value, which affects your top line and bottom line in the organization. That's what we need to do. And I was being announced to bring this kind of example of what we have done over a couple of years within an industry which has been hardly hit by digitization, which is the automotive industry. So I will speak about when a company needs to shift from a kind of more used hardware-driven business to a software-driven business, which has been happening and started many, many years ago. And I brought this example of this gentleman here. You might all know Dieter, who was a couple of years ago the CEO of Daimler Corporation. And many, many years ago, he said he has given a statement because he has seen that something shifts from what they are used to be and to do into something where they're kind of uncertain, which is shifting from hardware to software. But he recognized we can design beautifully cars, right? But if we are not able to become a kind of delivery organization which is able to deliver by software, we might be dead. And it's a tricky point. And so he built that famous sentence, go digital or go home. That was what he announced to the public and then also to the internal organization. And then the journey has begun. I'm always trying to draw it on very simple pictures, because I'm a very simple guy, so I try to explain it in a very simple way. And that was exactly the problem what the corporation, the Daimler Corporation, Mercedes-Benz had. Like many organizations as of today, you see that over the time, the efforts and the costs of doing something explodes in organization, while on the other hand side, the output gets lower, lower, lower. So they get a kind of stuck in organizations. That was the problem what he had, because he said, what we need to do, we over-innovate ourselves, but I see nothing outside at the customer side. So what I want to do is we need to have less work in progress, and we need to get more done. We need to get into that segment within here. And then he was asking to organizations out there who can help us in this progress. Because in this case, he was asking, should we make it or buy it? The typical decision what companies need to do. And he was asking all the big four consultancies outside, big corporations, that can you help us? But we need a bit more than PowerPoints, right? We need more than strategic plans. We need to have something who is really used to be in the engine room and do it, who is able to deal with the zeros and ones. And then our company, the little Iconium, said, hey, Cserba, we have an idea. We might be able to help you. And then we started to think on what is the basic problem what they have. Because in your organizations, you have things that are pretty much important and things that are difficult, right? And if you go into the sector of very important things that are not that difficult, you try to do it by your own, so to make it. Yeah, if you have very difficult things that are less important, you're giving it to service providers and outside it there. But the most interesting point is up there in the field, which is the area of the real digital transformation. That means making the leverage and generating value out of the digitalization. And therefore, I said, how can we do this? And the left-hand corner is you let the cost decide, like always, right? So the right-hand corner, we said, how can we fix this? Because the guy had a problem, Mercedes had a problem on how can we fix that in that area. And then we came up with this kind of model, which is being described as BOOT. This stands for build, own, operate, and transfer. So we said we will help you for Mercedes-Benz globally to build a software delivery organization which helps you to get these things done and in a very fast way make you able to do it by yourself. Because you need to. You cannot outsource your digital transformation, but you can outsource it to insource it in a very fast way. And that was this kind of approach what we have done for them. So we have built a company, we have operated a company, we have owned a company, we have operated a company, and then we have given them an option to make the buy-in and transfer it back into the corporation when it's able to walk. And this is how we started with this organization, which was being called Synteo, which was the global digital factory, which consolidates all digital initiatives of Mercedes-Benz globally. We started with a market-facing side. So even Cserba was a kind of excited to say, let's get things done, but do epic shit. That is what we have done for them. We have started that company, and over a very fast time of 2.5 years, it turned into kind of success case, so that things started to work. And it has been turned into Mercedes-Benz.io, which is the former Synteo organization. When it has been transferred into the corporation, it has been renamed as Mercedes-Benz.io, born to transform the organization. That's what we have done. And basically, what was it? Why is it? Why do we call it a kind of success? It is not that we have built up a corporation, a company, an entity with a nice name and put some nice logos on it. It was not about that. It was simply about this, because that was the problem that was existing within the organization, what they had. So they had very, very long execution times. And the longer it takes, the risk of the projects go up, right? So huge risk because the project took so long. And what we have simply done, very simple, we have started to cut the things into pieces, shorten the times, and we have started things and we have finished things. Then we have taken the next one to start and finished it. Sounds simple, but that was pretty new for the corporation, to start something and finish something. Whoa, that's new. They said, okay, we are doing that. What we have achieved with what was the major achievement? So you see the risk goes down since you do and finish some stuff, and we have achieved by this model an execution time which was in average 18 months for the project, down to an average time of 3 months. So high turnover of projects was coming in, so we call it getting things done at scale. And I think that's what the companies need. And the most important point is this, getting things done at scale, owned, not externalized. I think that was the key why it was a success, because we started external, but we turned it into a kind of own thing, so that the key competence, what the company needs, is within the company. And then I will just summarize the journey so that you have seen how did we make it. We started as a kind of task force in the organization. We've built and owned this new Diconium entity, so 100% owned and established by us. The name was Sinteo. I mentioned it, and from the beginning, not to make kind of fancy shit outside as a kind of innovation hub or something like that, which is completely disconnected. From the beginning, we had a co-management. So there was one MD from our side, and one MD has taken out from the Mercedes-Benz global organization. The same with the steering committee. It was a kind of blended mix of Diconium people and Daimler AG people, so that it has the right connect within the organization, and it stays relevant. So we then continued in finding the location. We built the location, and we have set up the operation so that it's kind of seamless and without hassle for the corporation, not to lose any more time. And for the organization, when we have started the Mercedes-Benz I/O or the Sinteo, we have on purpose chosen an operation, an agile operational model, organizational model, which was called holacracy. Holacracy is a highly agile model which plays on roles instead of positions, which is radical. And why did we choose this radical organization model? Because we said it needs to be as far as possible from the operating system of the Daimler Corporation. It needs to be the opposite. Why? If it's too close, it can be eaten up so fast by the immune system of the organization. So we made it hard to eat up and to implement or to wrap the organization model of the corporation over it. So we started with that radical approach. We initially staffed the company with 30 experts from our side because that was the problem, to get these experts into and working mode. So we have given it to the company. We started to that. We scaled it up to 150 people within 2 years. And after 2.5 years, that was very fast. The corporation said, okay, then we take the call option and buy this company in, because we see that things are started to run and being implemented in a faster way with less risk at scale. So this 150 people. Why did we get it so fast? Because our company has a digital DNA. It was founded in 1995, so we had a kind of things which attract people more than entering a corporate operating system. Because yes, Mercedes-Benz sounds nice, but the people you need not necessarily want to jump into a corporate operating system, because they don't like it. So we opened up a new window, got the people fast, and then we had implemented a very essential part and at a very early stage, so that we said it's not the nice thing of Mercedes-Benz, which is somewhere. So we made a cultural exchange program between the Ivory Tower and the startup of Synteo, so that people from the corporate operating system came into our organization, into Synteo, and then we have sent people back, because without this cultural exchange at a very early stage, it divides and it might never come together again. So that was a kind of key success factor from my point of view, because anyway, 50% of the work with what we do is cultural work, right? If it's not reaching to people, if the people don't follow you, you just can burn the money. So transferred back after 2.5 years to Daimler, and it has been growing up to, I guess, did I say it? It's a bit more than 1,000 people now within that organization on different locations. The majority of this organization is being based in Portugal. Right now there is some things in Berlin, a bit in Stuttgart, but Portugal is the main hub of Mercedes-Benz IO as of today. So it's about doing, not talking about this. And for Mercedes-Benz, it is a success case. For others, the model will look different, because there is no one-size-fits-all with this kind of stuff. But for this situation, it was the kind of best marriage of the new era and the traditional area of the company. And so we just did it, and we are trying to do it more often. So thank you very much for this. So I will just bring that picture, which we might need when we speak. This one, right? I leave that one.
So thank you, Martin. We still have a couple of minutes, and it's you are also Matt fitting that 2.5-year journey into 15 minutes. Thank you very much for that. So this whole journey is quite a step forward in terms of courage, because it's very unusual for both the technology user, the Mercedes-Benz, who has never experimented with such a way of operating before, because it's not doing things on their own, or neither it's outsourcing it. And also it takes a lot of courage from your side, because now as a supplier, you have a customer, but now you are being asked to create a new company, take some risks, acquire talents, create a culture, with the option to exit, to sell this company to Mercedes-Benz. But there's always risk that they would step back from that. So it takes quite some courage on both the supplier side and the user side, technology user side. Can you speak a little bit about how that was for you as a technology supplier at the beginning of the journey?
Yeah, it needs, like you said, it needs huge courage and braveness of both. Because from our side, there is huge risks into going into that kind of venture, because you said, we could have started the whole thing, building local locations or whatever, and then maybe there is a management change within the corporation that say, okay, we don't like it anymore, we unplug it. That was the risk number one in that kind of model. Then the second risk where we need to be brave is, if you build something great and send excellent people from our side into that organization, the chance is very high that you will never get them back into your company. So, which was the case, because this thing went off so well. So many people stayed there. So it's the risk that you lose talents from your organization. But if you ask me, if you build something or if something great is coming up, anyway, you cannot hold the people. They will anyway shift to somewhere, right, yeah, where they get attracted. And they will not stay forever within your company. So it's okay when you leave. And the third one is usually you think of, then the money, you do something and the money flows automatically in. By far not, because you're consolidating that organization, and you're organizing that organization, you build it, and you consolidate all initiatives which deal with many, many players around the world. So if you're good, maybe you can do something for that organization as well, but there is no automatism in there so that you get there. So you need to be very good in there. And for the courage and the braveness of the corporate operating system, that was a kind of, we had some people as a kind of front runner and said, yes, we do it, right? Because others called them crazy and said, you are not normal. They are building an organizational operating system on the holacracy model, which sounds weird, yeah? And I heard that it's not working or whatever, but someone needs to say, yes, I will try it, yeah? And that was the braveness of them to say, we have no clue whether this works, but at least we are going into the mode of getting things done at scale, because we have talked a lot, and someone needs to take that kind of decision from a big corporation and risk maybe his own or her own seat. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And maybe we can accept one question from the audience before our time runs out. Soru sormak isteyen var mı? Buyurun, en arkadaki beyefendi.
Performance and to prove that you're doing better than Mercedes?
Yeah. First, the metrics was are we an enabler to get things faster in a more qualitative way? Then, of course, some metrics was also risk minimization of kind of long-term projects. So it was basically getting things done faster at scale. That was the major thing. And making things shine by getting high talents, very good people, which they normally wouldn't have got into their organization. So the talents, it was a lot about the talents. So to get the best people into this organization. And that was the reason also why the whole model is based on they are getting the people, right? Because at the end, it's a people business, and the results, getting things done at scale, that was the metric. So minimizing the time of execution, yeah?
Today, before lunch, there was a question about how human capital is being managed and planned for in digital transformation, and this is an excellent example of a unique way of doing that also.
Yeah, and Gökhan just said, it is not about the project, right? You need to get very fast into it, and it is one. And then hopefully you help the big corporation to own it very fast. Because if they're not able to own it, it's nice, but it doesn't create substantial value for the corporation.
Thank you very much. And Martin will be with us in the coffee break afterwards as well for other follow-up questions. Thank you very much, Martin, for this.
Thank you very much.
Session.
Çok teşekkür ederim.